without further ado, let me please introduce you to our distinguished hosts. First is Mr. Deepak Bagla, the president of WAIPA.
Thank you, guys. Morning. Thank you, Adrian, for getting us all together and introducing what is happening today. Sorry, we are all a bit buzzed after last night, most of us, so we're just trying to get ourselves back to life. But really feels good to have everyone here together. Just look at it. I mean, even if we had looked ourselves 60 days ago, could you ever think of a room without masks? It's been a very tough time. And the interesting thing of the tough time is you always want to forget it as soon as you can. But the more important thing is to learn what happened and see where we pick up from there. You notice we had a yoga session in the morning. And after every session, there is a break. The reason for the break is to get one of those learnings that your health is more important than anything else. And more importantly than the health is, if there was a break, you would all go back to your mobile phones to show that there is a world beyond it. Because think, when I came into this room earlier, everyone had a mobile phone, and you were all trying to go through those messages. The reason why this break is happening after every session is to remind you of that life is beyond that. And it was an extremely disrupted world. It is a world which took a lot away, but it was also a world which has left behind many lessons for us. But it's also the opportunity where we can create a new world together and a new order. And I think it is an imperative. We don't have a choice. It will happen. Either you're a part of it or you're not a part of it. And if you are a part of it, it'll help you just shape it in a manner you may want to do it. You know, this time, WAIPA has 104 countries in person. 104 countries in person if we'll add it across various sessions. They're here. It's the world's largest platform devoted only to investment. These 104 countries directly represent 7.25 billion lives and individuals. 7.25 billion directly impacted by all of you in this room. Indirectly, the entire 7.75. And the reason why you're all here in person is because you all want to do something about it. This platform is just an enabler. And as we move into the new world, which is now getting around us, new trends which are seeing, one of the most important one for us is supply chain. You're going to be speaking about it, James. All of you are going to be discussing it. I think supply chains is a huge reorganization, not just of investments and reinvestments, but of lives. I personally think that this disruption has focused a huge point on what is growth per se. So if you look at some of the elements which we are discussing today, supply chains, which is core to all of you because it impacts your immediate business, and I completely agree with that one, that is something we need to re-look at. And now that we have a chance to reorganize it, to put it in a manner that we can see sustainability and we can see equity. Sustainability is, without a question, it's right out there for all of us. I'm sure we can do a lot more, but it has to be done with a lot less. And that, to my mind, is the core and the crux of the new world which is now being shaped going forward. I'll bring gender into that, I'll bring climate into that. All those are elements which are a part of it. But I do remember, again, health and equity remaining the top of it. Growth without equity is not growth. Think of what growth is in your mind today. And I think that is another thing which this platform needs to think of more seriously. Is it just a number on your GDP? And the other thing, growth is no longer a portrait. Growth is clearly and has to be a landscape. Until each one of us is a part of it, it's not growth. Until the last person on the planet does not have the virus is not gone. We still remain vulnerable. And that is the new element of growth which has come in. And that is what this platform wants to focus on. That growth with sustainability and growth with equity and growth with inclusion. And those are the sessions which you'll be seeing happening today. But now that we've talked about all this, there is also the opportunity and there are answers on how we can create solutions for these challenges. And I think the biggest one on that is the extreme level of innovation startups which is happening across the globe. It's disrupting the world completely. But they're showing us completely different answers. And I said, the ability to do more with less. For us in India, that is one of the biggest things which is happening. And with that is digitization. And to my mind, digitization is the absolute core of the new world order. Digitization is about transparency, digitization is about equity, digitization is about opportunity, digitization is about access to opportunity. Be it health, be it education, be it jobs. And this is central to what WAIPA wants to do. And I look at it as the most important pillar for us as we move across into the next 36 to 48 months. Digitization. In fact, on WAIPA itself, for all our members, we are creating digital platforms to come up with solutions and to create that connectivity right across. But I come from a country with 1.4 billion people. 11% of the world's population lives in my villages. And I have seen how digitization is changing the lives of each one of them. For the first time in my history of 5,000 years, do I have a country and a nation and a set of people and human resources where each individual can partake in the growth which takes place, participate in that growth, and work on the advantages of that growth. And the only reason why that is happening is by digitization. Our Prime Minister, and I'm sorry I'm talking a little about India, but I'm just giving you an example. Digital India was something which was launched in 2015, July, by our Honorable Prime Minister. We are what, 72 months down the line? On the 15th of July 2015, India's global position on per capita data consumption was 123. Do you want to take a guess what it was last year? It was number 1 in the world. India consumed more per capita data than China and the US put together. And the reason why I bring this to you is that digitization is a solution which does not only involve scale, but it also brings you pace and speed. It is an imperative. And this is what we want to work together as a family together, as Team WAIPA, to bring that to each and every person, individual, and life across the globe. I also do want to take it on to the point of what is the changing role of IPAs of all of you. Because of the fast disruption, I think every government is facing the challenge of policy, of recreating that policy, of how it ought to happen. There are several new challenges which are happening and emerging, and the role of IPAs themselves need to be redefined. The role of IPAs need to get more focus. IPAs were initially looked at as the voice of the investor in the system. Today, all of you will have to be the voice of the government too. You will have to be the voice of the policymaker. You will also have to be the voice of each and every individual and life in your country and the voice of all of us collectively. It has to be that voice of reason. It has to be that entity which joins the dots, not just to deliver the hopes and aspirations of yourself individually, your organization, or your country, but together, all of us together, for that 7.75 billion people on this planet. And frankly, this is not just a role of the IPA. Today, and from now on, it is your responsibility. And that responsibility is not just for today, but for a better tomorrow. So this is what we look forward to deliberate. And let me tell you, never again and never before has there been a more opportune moment or a bigger opportunity where each one of you can actually shape a new world. Thank you very much for the day's deliberations. Thank you.